All right. Awesome. Cool. So we are now live on YouTube, and this Marketing Power Hour is going to focus on getting these photos all set up in a great new gallery. If you guys can hear some jingling, that is my beautiful dog that is scratching herself now. Right behind the ears. Gotta feel good. And you know what else feels good? A nice looking website. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to be focused on creating a photo gallery. This one actually doesn't work for us. We're going to focus ourselves on, that page doesn't really matter, by the way. That's why I deleted it. Updating the photo galleries on a website. Now, as you can see, this is the website for Michiana Roofing and Sheet Metal. I've already set up various galleries for them. And the issue that they're currently experiencing is that despite these galleries already being properly organized in terms of just, they're uploaded, they're SEO optimized, all that good stuff. One of the things that they struggled with was they sent me a large folder of existing photos, and these are photos of their previous work before they even started working with me and before they even wanted to start their own website, right? This is this contractor's handiwork that he used as a subcontractor, and we uploaded all the photos to their website. They look great. The issue is that as you jump into other services, right? Let's look at shingle roofing for an example. These are the same photos. So that creates a little bit of an issue for them. What they want is for the photos to be organized in such a way that when you go over to those particular photos, you would already be looking at the different work that they do, the various things that they do as far as just like, architectural sheet metal that should have photos of just architectural sheet metal. And then we're going to look at things like, we're going to add to this one the custom metal work or the metal facades or what have you. So custom metal work honestly might even need its own page. I might even need to duplicate one of these pages, and I'm doing this work for free, so that can be a little bit of a conflict for me because I'm here to make money like any small business. But these customers have already paid for a phase 2. Well, they haven't paid for a phase 2. They've contacted me and they want to work on a phase 2 for their website, and we're going to do that for them. So I'm going to do this work for free. It's going to be a couple hours. This is going to be a 1 hour-ish session of me just doing this work. Might seem a little bit boring, but it will be helpful. I will try to share beneficial insights as we go along. And I just went live on TikTok Studio now as well. So we are going to be running 2 lives at the same time. If anybody pops up on the chat, I'm going to say hello to them. And obviously over here on YouTube as well, if anybody wants to chat with me, you guys are going to be visible as well. Just making sure that I've got you guys in a spot that I can actually see you. So nice. And for live streaming services, what I am using right now is OBS and TikTok Live Studio. These are really good services that I've really enjoyed using, and they've been very beneficial and helpful in getting everything set up in terms of going live on YouTube, recording the work that I'm doing, and just keeping myself all around accountable, right? Because really I don't have a lot of subscribers on YouTube. I don't have a huge following on Instagram or TikTok per se. And I will be promoting more of these lives as my business continues to ramp up, as I get more time, as I start working on marketing myself as a marketing consultant. But right now, really the big focus is on doing work for my clients. So here's something that we're going to be doing. This is one of the things that will happen. I've already built this website for this client. But something else that's going to be relevant here is that whenever I make these galleries, I'm going to make sure that there's no gap here. We want no gap on all of these. The height is going to be not just small, but basically non-existent, right? And then this way, what I can do is I can edit the colors here, and I can simply add a text block, and this text block will naturally be here. So we can title this using an H2 because we want the keyword to be there. We're going to focus this on architectural panels. Architectural panels, ACM. What does ACM stand for? This is the cool part about my business is ACM metal panels, meaning is that I get to learn new stuff like this, aluminum composite material. So that's what we're going to be doing. That is what I'm going to be. So now we go back to this website, architectural panels, aluminum composite material, parentheses, ACM. Cool. And then I can put this right here in the middle. Honestly, I could probably even make this a little smaller. So what I'll do is I'll put this right up top, put this right here, and there you go. If I wanted to make this a little bit more fancy, I could always add a line here. Not 100% sure on this, but it's all good. And I don't like the look of the H2. I'm going to go with an H3 just so I can keep some of this spacing looking nice. And because I know that it's possible that this may not look exactly the way that I want it to if the lines are all messed up. So cool. That gives me some space here. I'm going to edit this top section here so that way the height of this particular one is actually also not that bad. So that unifies our text a little bit more and makes my life a little easier, or in my opinion, because we're doing this so customers can better and more easily see the photos, we're going to go ahead and leave it like that so that way this text is all good where it's supposed to be. So as you can see here, I've already been working on this project. I've already got a lot of these photos uploaded. The real issue here is that the photos are not organized per se. As you saw on one page, you just have the same photos over and over again, regardless of the service. So now really what the job is here is to continue to find these photos. The last one that we did looks like it was True Foods Kitchen. I believe this photo is not in the website. It's not uploaded into the website gallery. So let me take a look here and just make sure with a cursory glance that these photos are not present already within, or that particular photo is not already present within the gallery that Squarespace gives to its clients, which is always a great reason to go with Squarespace. You'll hear me talk lots about them as we continue in this live. Great. So we're going to need to upload this photo to the website. One of the things that is important when you're uploading photos to a website that I recommend, check out that size. In terms of just what I like for settings and what I think is best for fast loading websites is you want your largest size pixel section to be at 1500 and the rest on a Mac should automatically go to the right proper scale. I like a resolution at 300 DPI. It's pixels per inch in this case, but I say DPI because when you're printing something for marketing purposes, they ask you for 300 DPI, that's dots per inch. And the cool thing, actually, just so you guys know, when you're using Canva, is that if you actually process an image for print quality and pro print quality CYMK through Canva, you actually do get automatic 300 dots per inch, which is cool. So I just edited the size of that photo, which is nice. But the other thing you want to edit when you're adding a photo to your website is a title that is relevant to the keyword that you are trying to target, right? So in this case, what we want is architectural sheet metal panels. That's what we're going to call this. And then we're going to say Habitat for Humanity, just to help us with the searching of it. Humanity. And then we're actually going to do commercial sheet metal paneling. Awesome. Save that. Save the actual file. And now, since we are there, reopen that. And now we can upload this one. Great. So now we've added a new photo to the website, to the gallery, and that's also now in there. Let's look at these next ones. I believe that one is also new, which is great. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to choose to rename that one, but really just so I can copy the name here. And then, you know what, we're going to open this up once again. double check what size we're working with here. And thank you, Mac, for making this easy for me. So again, you want to make your largest size 1500. The rest will automatically go. I like a resolution at 300 pixels per inch. That's just a personal preference. You don't necessarily have to do that. It does make the file a little bit bigger, but since we've already made the size smaller, it's not a huge issue. Architectural sheet metals, we are going to do gas station for this one, right? And then we're going to save it. Cool. All set, closed, and up. Perfect. Payless, oh no, that's Sprint. All right, I think the Sprint one is also not present on this website. So let's take a look back at this gallery, scroll through these photos real quick, look for that Sprint photo, see if I find it here. If you see it anywhere in the chat, I know there was Payless. I know we already added that one in there. Sounds like one of my dogs is also walking around in this house. Oh, nope, it's my girl dog, and she is once again scratching her face. I love her very much, and I love anybody who's watching this right now. I appreciate y'all. So yeah, looks like this Sprint photo is not up there. I am going to once again rename this. I've already got that copied. Oh, and now I'm realizing that I actually misspelled this. Whoops. There you go. Architectural sheet metal panels. We're going to do storefront Sprint. And then we're going to save that. Storefront could be a relevant search term for these customers. If they are trying to promote themselves as somebody who can do this work for a storefront, then having that storefront keyword in the title is a smart move, in my opinion. That's just a smart move that you're going to want for a small business like this. We'll talk about these descriptions and stuff later on. For now, right now, what we want to do is just get all these photos uploaded and get them looking good. That particular photo of that particular building, I know, is already in this gallery. So that's great. Should already be in the gallery. Should already be named. I'm just going to scroll down here, continue looking for it. I'm looking for that fuzzy looking photo. It's a little blurry, but no worries. These are not my photos. I did not take them, but one day I will take photos for these guys, and then I'll do a live session of me editing those photos. That'll be fun. For now, we just need to find the right photos, right? Because we have the building. Well, that's actually not even the same building. It's just a similar style. That's what happens when you look at these photos over and over again. Everything starts to blend together, but I'm sure we'll find it. And if we don't find it, even better. We get a new opportunity to add a new photo to this website. It looks like, there we go. That's not the photo we wanted. Whoopsie. All right, so what are we going to do here? It looks like we got to add a new photo to this website gallery, despite the fact that I cannot find this image. And hopefully I'm not double adding this in there. It's not a problem. Squarespace makes it very easy for you to manage your images, but it looks like this one isn't in there. So again, you're going to open this up. You're going to take a look at the photo using your Mac or whatever software you're using. You're going to rename it. Oh, I did not mean to rename it like that. I'm going to close it and then reopen it. Looks like that doesn't make a difference. Well, we'll be sure to add .jpg to the title of this image. Oh, and now I can't actually even rename it because it's up there. Well, here's the key then. We're going to rename it here. And then we're going to do, I believe this is a apartment building. So we're going to rename that to look a particular way. Hey, Bad Unit, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you. I'm doing small business marketing services for an architectural sheet panel building company. They're contractors. We're just updating some of the galleries on their website. I'm going to put condominium. That's going to make more sense. Condominium. If that's how you spell that. Then what I'm going to do is check the size. Once again, you're going to want that largest size to be at 1500. You're going to fix your pixels per inch to 300. That's just a personal preference because I like them to be crisp and clean. It's a little bit of a heftier file, but not a huge deal. Now we get to upload this into Squarespace, put that in the gallery where it's supposed to go, and that makes life easier. And then once we're done with this architectural panels gallery, we're going to do another gallery for every other folder that they sent me. They've sent me a number of different photos, a number of different things. I think this photo is already on the, man, that's a nice photo. I don't even know if that's AI. It kind of looks like AI a little bit. I hope that they're not, but the numbers look crisp. I don't see any details that tell me that it's AI. Maybe the sky would be the case, but it's just a nice photo in general. Being a subcontractor for these high quality commercial businesses, it goes a long way. Because then if they share all of the stuff that you've already done for them, then that's a great company to work with. I'd continue to work with that company. Whenever I take photos for a customer, I always try to make sure that I send them both the raw images and the edited ones. So that way they have a little something to always keep for themselves. It's always their photos. There we go. I knew this photo was already on that website. Great. Oh, well, bad unit. Sorry. Appreciate you being here for a little while. I know the Jolly Bean is all good. I have definitely put the Jolly Bean in here. I'm pretty sure that photo is right there. Boom. Jolly Bean is easy. This ravine photo's also there. Should be no problem. Let's see. Which one are they doing? Which of these photos is it? It's that one. Looks like that. Is this the same one? Looks like it is. Looks like that one and that one are the same. So we're going to do that. Next photo here is this ravine photo. Great. So that one's also already on this website. That's like one of the first ones because I actually really like that photo. And I really like the look of that house. If I'm being honest, if I had a lot of money, if I do this long enough, if I continue to make money, hopefully, using this kind of thing, or doing this type of service, doing marketing services for small businesses, I would love to have a house that looks like that, to really put that metal to work. Not a huge fan of the flat roof per se, but a 1-story with a good flat roof, big floor to ceiling windows, that's really my vibe. That's exactly what I love to see. That's personally my style decision. So now we got this other photo. Oh, that's cool. They got a guy walking in there. That's nice. I'm pretty sure I've also added that photo as well. But if not, as you've seen, it makes it really easy. It's really easy to add these in. It's just the work. It's just the labor of tossing these photos on your website, making sure that they're named properly so that way they're SEO optimized. One cool thing about Squarespace as well is that Squarespace will actually help you optimize for SEO and artificial intelligence optimization, what we're calling AIO in the marketing verse, if you haven't heard that term yet, which I have a whole thing about AI. I use AI in my work. I certainly do. I'm not going to judge anybody for using AI per se, but I also don't think, one, AI is not the right name for it. It's a large language learning model or something like that. It's a language learning model, something like that. It's often wrong. There's no actual intelligence. If you pay for the paid subscription, you're actually doing a little bit better because it is crawling the internet to feed you results. But realistically, all it is it's something. It makes Googling easier, essentially. It'll Google things for you, but sometimes it gets things wrong as well. So AI can be a problem that way. And this is great. I love that they had already sent me a lot of these, and their ask was not a huge ask. That's why I'm doing this for free, because a simple project like this, it is work. It's busy work, in my opinion. This looks like a new photo. I don't think that I have that in there, but let's just double check one last time. But this type of busy work, if it's gonna help this business and if it's gonna help me to maintain a positive relationship, and assuming that I have the time, assuming that this isn't like a service that they want me to do for free and I just don't have the time to do it for them, assuming that that's the case for all of these things. Oh, I did have that photo already in there. I'm happy to do it for free. I really am. I really don't mind because it helps long term for everybody. That's really my thought process there. So now that we've got this all set up, this is great. Here's what we want to do next. Next, and sadly, what really bums me out here is that I can't add like a title. They used to give you the option with Squarespace to add a title to your gallery. And now for some reason they don't let you do that. So it doesn't really matter to me necessarily, but I'm going to save this section of the website to the actual Squarespace. It's kind of like your little hub. And then I'm going to save this section as well to this website. And that makes life really easy for me because now I can actually save the work that I've already done. It's already saved here on Squarespace. And then I get to go over to these services pages. And this is exactly what they wanted, right? This will make life a lot easier for them. So now what I can do is, instead of these sections that I have currently on their website, I can just go over to the saved section website, go over here. I can even change the colors just so it matches better with what we had before, so that way we keep the same general UX that we had before. And I'm going to add another section here, and that's going to be this gallery, right? This is that new gallery that we just did. Perfect. And we want to match the same stuff. So again, we're going to edit section. We're going to change it to light 1. And then what we're going to do is we're going to also add a divider. And the divider that I like is this one. But I don't like the way that that's all set up. Alignment doesn't really matter there. Actually, it should be the width. Nope. The height, the length. There we go. And we want to make this a little bit more custom. So we should probably write this down. Oh, okay, so that's just giving me that. What I want is for the height now to be just a little bit higher there. And then we're going to move this alignment over that way, right? Yep, that's how that looks. All right, so in this case, now I'm going to do something that's a little bit more analog for the old school people. Maybe I'm just old personally, but I just take pictures of settings that I already have set up, and now I can close this, delete this one, and it looks exactly the way they looked before. You know what I'm noticing here also is I don't like the fact that there's no like indicator as to what you're going to be seeing here. View, so I'm going to add this in there. View our photos below. Perfect. And I like the way that that looks. Makes me feel happy with the way that that's come out. And now we can hit save. And now that's updated on their website. That's great. We've already set that up. And hopefully this is what they're going to want. Otherwise, we're going to have to kind of see as we look through some of these other photos that they want, right? Oh, interesting. That's right. We want all projects, right? And then one of the other things that I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete this portfolio, because I had this portfolio set up for them before when I first built their website, but I really wasn't aware of what they actually wanted. This is a common thing that happens, if I'm being honest, is that when I'm working with business owners, can I not delete this section? Ew, interesting. All right, well, I guess we'll leave that as it is currently, because that is not necessarily what I wanted, but, you know, oh well. We can always work that out later. All right, let's keep on going anyway. So you've got that project gallery. We're going to add another one here. We're going to go to add section. And again, because we've already saved that in there, we're perfect. We're all set there. And we're going to put view our photos below. Perfect. And then we're going to add another section. I'm just going to add the same saved section that I have from the last one. Oh, interesting. Did I choose the wrong one, or did it actually just update itself? That's the real question. Okay, I chose the wrong one. No problem. All right, there we go. That's the gallery that we're looking for. So now what I can do is I can delete all of these photos. It's not deleting them from my actual website, which is nice. What it's just deleting them from is this particular gallery. If we had filters back, we would be able to use filters to make this all work, but instead we're just going to make multiple galleries, save those galleries in accordance with the specifications that these guys have, and then from there we'll just kind of go. All right, and now we've hit 4 o'clock. I'm going to give this another 20 minutes on the live, and then we're going to go from there. This next photo gallery, I'm just going to make sure that that's also all set. This is going to be cornice restoration, which is great. That'll be good for our subcategories as well when we look at phase 2. And then again, I guess this didn't actually delete because I didn't save it properly or something. But anyway, we'll delete that for now. And then we'll look for one of these first photos, right? So the first one that we have here is that cornice. I don't know if that one's already in this website, but again, we'll take a look. We'll just take, there it is right there, architectural metal siding and copper cornice replacement. Perfect. So, I'd have to take a look again at the search data here. I think it's minimal. I know I made it for them in their website strategy. Let's take a look at these guys' strategy. We put that there, and I can close this because I don't need that. I'm going to go over to website strategy, and let's look at the keywords. Corrugated metal siding, standing seam. Okay, so that makes sense. There's not like a comprehensive list. Okay, so I think let's take a look because I did set up a spreadsheet for them. Metal roofing keywords. Let's take a look at these various keywords. Guess I don't have copper cornice. But the cool thing is that we can go to Google Ads and use their keyword tool just to make sure that replacement versus restoration, kind of going to want to see what that looks like. So we've got saved keywords, average monthly service. Let's add a keyword here. Let's go copper cornice restoration. And then on the second one, we're going to do copper cornice replacement and save. And here we go. We've got these two keywords. Actually, so it looks like just over the last year from December. So let's look at the last 24 months. Again, not a huge volume of metal cornice restoration. Nope, not a huge volume of search. Not enough for Google to tell us that it matters the way that you're titling this photo. There's not enough information that Google has to let us know that people are searching for copper cornice replacement or copper cornice restoration. Doesn't matter to us. So the photo that I already have in there with the title that I already have in there is just fine. I'm going to assume replacement makes more sense because, again, thinking like a consumer, if I am searching for somebody to replace my copper cornice, I'm not going to go on social media. I'm going to Google copper cornice replacement, and it's more likely that I'm going to Google copper cornice replacement than I am going to Google copper cornice restoration per se. Because, actually that's a tough one. If you're watching this on the playback, add into the comments I would Google this as restoration, because people are going to typically restore old buildings, right? Most of the places that have cornices, right? Most buildings these days don't have cornices. So would you search on Google if you lived in an older building or you owned an older building that's a historical landmark? Would you search for copper cornice replacement or copper cornice restoration if you were Googling that particular service? That's the real question. So add your take in the comments. That would be awesome. Would love to hear it. I don't think this photo is on this website. Let me just make sure here. And if it's not, we can cover our bases with the multiple keywords. That's also the benefit of having multiple keywords on that you're targeting, and then also multiple websites. Okay, multiple photos on your website. Sorry. So this is copper cornice installation, even better, because they titled it copper cornice. They didn't tell me anything other than that. So that's what I'm gonna do. One thing else that I'm noticing here is that I'm going one by one. I don't need to go one by one because I've already got all these photos saved, right? So the cool thing is that I can go on Squarespace. I can just hit that little check mark. I know that one's already there. And then I can actually I know that this photo's already on there because I've already put that on there, and I put it in twice because I wanted to make sure that there was a clear indication as to the before and the after. We'll put those right next to each other, right? Same thing goes with these, right? This one is the before. Whoop, this one is the before. This one is the after. So because I already have those on here, I've got the before. Check that. Check that. And now I can add up to 5 photos. Well, I can add more than 5, right? I'm going to continue going here because why do this more? Why spend more time on this than I need to? So again, we've got the before, and then we're going to do the after, right? There's the after. Perfect. I think that's the last one that I have, that I know for sure that I have. This looks like more of a shingle roof than a cornice restoration, if I'm being honest. So probably not going to add this one to that gallery. I know the client put that in their photo album, but sometimes, I'll ask them in an email when I tell them that it's done, but I'd rather do what I think in my gut is the smart decision and then just fix it if they want it fixed. It's not going to take a long time if they're like, actually, we did want that photo under the copper cornice restoration or under cornice restoration or something, because it's just, you never know. You never know. But it's not a huge deal. It's nothing to stress over. What's important is that we get the work done, right? And it looks like that green roofed building is not on this website. So that gives us an opportunity to add that in there. All right, cool. So here we have cornice restoration landmark. Oh man, I can't tell if that's metal or not. We're gonna do, that's fine. Cornice restoration. Actually, that's not that bad. I'll leave it as is. I'm going to leave that as is. Because if their keyword that they're targeting is cornice restoration, then that works for me. Now, I'm just going to make sure that the size is correct. Wow, that's actually smaller than it needs to be. It might be too small, in my opinion, just in terms of what you're actually going to get for the quality of an image on your website. But we'll just update those dots, those pixel dots. No need to worry about that. I can't move that in there just yet. I think that photo is not up there. I think that photo is actually in there. So let me just take a look one more time and make sure that we have what we need here. This photo is this photo. All right. Yep. Cool. So we're going to do that. Very nice. Very nice. And we're going to do something else, which is the other buildings. We're going to look for any other buildings that would be, this looks like that building. Nope, it is not. That's what happens when you can't see. Okay, cool. So we've already got that one. Great. This is another one of those images. Both of these we have not added into this gallery. So we got that one now. We've got this one. So these two are set plus that one. And then we just need to double check for this one, and this one. All right. I think all three of these. That one I think we've already done. This one is the same as this one, is it not? Yeah, those two are the exact same photo. I am not going to add that second one because it makes no difference. Adding the same photo twice is not a great idea. It's actually a possible way to get you in trouble with Google SEO. It's mostly run by robots these days. But if you're double adding photos, trying to keyword stuff, as they call it, that can get you in trouble with Google. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to keyword stuff. We want to put in the right keywords for the right building. Oh, Town and Country Contractors Inc. That's cool. When you do work for a contractor, as a contractor, I think that's always a good sign. Get the contractor's trust. Let me see here. So this is cornice restoration, commercial office building. That's what we're going to do. I'm actually going to rename this again, copy that, and then we're going to do cornice restoration. Let's do cornice restoration for residential building for this second one because it looks like a residential building. Yep. Cool. We already said we're not going to add that, and we're going to do the same thing here. Let's just do multi-tenant building. I'm thinking in my head, if I'm working, if I'm a commercial developer and I need to find somebody here, I'm going to tell my assistant, find somebody who does a cornice restoration. They're going to go and they're going to think, or limitedly think, let me just Google exactly what my boss told me to find. And then they're just going to pick the person who's on the top of Google. I always try to remind my B2B clients, you're not talking to the CEO during the awareness stage. You're absolutely not. You're talking to the CEO's assistant. You're talking to some random person in procurement. They don't know, with the level of same expertise as the CEO or as like the whatever, person with the title that is asking you for this stuff. They don't know as much as that person does. And they're not going to Google things that are outside of their mind. They're going to Google what you're telling them to Google. Hey, I need a contractor for this. then they're going to Google cornice restoration. So now you know roughly what keywords you want to target, right? So now we've got these photos in there. We're going to close this. How do I save this? Because I'm nervous. View art, cornice restoration, and installation, just in case. I want to make sure that I can save this properly. So now we've saved this, and now we're going to grab another one. This is going to be another section that we're going to want to save. So we're going to save that to the website in case we need to add that. Services makes me a little nervous. All services. Shingle. Where did we put cornice restoration? Because that's really the question here, is where do we do this shingle roofing service? Where do we put this particular photo or this particular gallery? All right. Well, I guess what we're going to do is we're going to copy this one and do that. Oh, that makes me nervous. What do we do? Okay. Always make sure that it looks the same in mobile as it does. Okay. All right. Yeah, everything looks fine. So now we're going to copy this page. We're going to duplicate page using Squarespace's easy-to-use software. And we're going to call this cornice restoration. And again, I'm doing this for free. So they're not getting the super largest thing. I think this is already part of phase 2 anyway. Let me just double check this just in case. They sent me an email. Great. And I have their quote for phase 2. This is what you can expect when you look for a vendor, right? The first thing I did was I built them a general website. Under phase 2, we're going to put architectural sheet metal, new construction, metal roofing. Okay, so they don't actually have. I mean, would it fall under decorative metalworks? Are cornices always made of metal? That's a great question. Cornices are not always made of metal. Great. So I think we might just want to add this in there. It's just going to be, and it's not even quoted as part of phase 2. So it makes more sense for me to just put this in there, save myself the trouble. Cornice restoration, and I'm just going to put services. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go with ChatGPT. Whoop. And then write an SEO optimized wireframe for a cornice. That's what we're going to do for a cornice restoration service page for Michiana Metal Roofing and Sheet Metal. Is that the name of the business? Yes. It should be Michiana Roofing and Sheet Metal. That's what it is. Whoops. Michiana Roofing and Sheet Metal. That focuses on commercial, multi-tenant. Actually, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Multi-tenant residential. And actually, that's all we need. There we go. And residential services. Boom. So let's look at this wireframe that they're setting up for us. We're going to add, not all of it, but we're going to add some of this stuff into this page. We just want to make sure that it all looks good. That's nice. Cool. So let's take a look here. Cornices play a critical role in protecting your building. Okay. So we don't need that whole blurb per se. We're going to focus on... I'm going to move this for a second so I can take a look and read it in conjunction with what I've already structured as part of their UX. So really what we want is like this nice short one sentence that focuses on, okay, here we go. Cornice restoration for office buildings, retail centers, industrial facilities, and historic properties. Just generally making sure that this all looks good. Let's go with oh, that did not come out the way that I wanted it. So now I'm gonna, what are you doing here? What are you doing to me, Squarespace? Come on. One of the problems with these things. Okay, so no problem. Just fix that up. And then we're going to do highlights. I like that one. I think that just looks good. And we're going to add this in here. I'm going to remove these and make them bullet points. Sweet. Make sure that the text is as small as it needs to be. Then we're going to replace this photo with one of the new photos that we just added in there from my library. Let's go with, we definitely want it to be a vertical photo. So let's go with this one. I like that one. That'll work. Let's make sure that it looks good in mobile. Okay. There we go. Make sure that you're focused on where it needs to be focused. Going back to desktop view here once again. Great. Now we're going to do cornice restoration. And then we're going to switch this back to paragraph 2. And we're going to add a section. Hit up our saved sections once again. Grab that gallery for cornice restoration. And then edit it so it all looks good and uniform, right? So we've edited the colors there. Awesome. We're going to add a divider on there. We're going to do the divider that we've been doing. And this is exactly why I like to save these images in a photo. So let's pull up that photo that we took on my phone. And then we'll wrap this up, and then we'll continue working on this later tonight. Finish this up and call it a day. And that was today's Marketing Power Hour. I know that this was only technically 40 minutes. I was live on TikTok for about 20 minutes, about, maybe like an hour, 2 hours ago or so, but no biggie. So we're going to type in here 122, and at height, we're going to put this at 8. Whoop. Flip it. There we go. Yeah. And then alignment was negative. What was this? Negative what? Negative 178. Negative. I should have just typed that in, but whatever. Here we are. Great. Delete this one. And look at that. Looks fantastic. One last thing that we're going to do before we go is make sure that this page is also SEO optimized to a certain degree. Cornice restoration. You see the URL slug is all messed up there. So now we're going to do cornice restoration, and then I'm going to add contractors. Actually, I'm not going to do that in case they want to send that to somebody. But what I'm going to do is under SEO here, we're going to do cornice restoration. Cornice restoration. Let me just make sure that there's nothing here. Benefits, Northern Indiana. Enhance your build today. Local. All right, cool. I think we should be fine. That's fine. There should be, I think this may have given me some form of a small blurb. Now write an SEO description between 50 and 300 characters with best practices. That's what we do right there. Boom, boom. And let ChatGPT deal with this. Expert cornice restorations. Trust Michiata roofing and sheet metal code compliant. Blah, blah. For durable code compliant repairs. I get worried making these types of things because I know sometimes contractors they get iffy. They're like, don't put any guarantees or anything. Not that they do bad work. These people obviously do great work, but I don't want to put them in a situation that makes them suffer in any way. Sometimes it's just better to be safe than sorry. So cool. Let's finish this up. For durable cornice repairs, then we get to add a new keyword. Boom. Save that. Now you've got another page on there. And more services. So that's beautiful. Great. So great. Now you've seen the general process of adding, not filtered, but adding specific galleries into specific pages for Squarespace. And a really easy way to do that is by using their saved section features, creating independent galleries for those independent things that you want, and then using those saved galleries to then add them to the right pages on the website to enhance the navigation of your website, to enhance the user experience of your website, so that way when they're looking at the services that you offer, they will see the photos of those specific services on that specific page. So that's how we do that. I have a couple more of these to do. I'm going to finish that up tonight, and then tomorrow we will log back in and we'll set up work because we have a couple more things to do. I'm not done with this one. We got to do a marketing strategy for JL Rocha Collections. We need to create content ideas. We need to do it's not the sample website, but we're actually doing the first draft of this awesome company's website. Really like what they're doing. I think they're an awesome company. Really exciting stuff going on. They do, infrastructure towers and stuff. I really am excited to do that website. I've already got a sample built that I finished, which is why this is now the first draft, because they just hired me, and then we're going to go from there. But thanks everybody for watching all of this. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to join me on my marketing power hours. I typically go live on TikTok and on YouTube live, so you can subscribe there. Want to say on YouTube, I'm the original Mrfancyshoes. Let's just double check that. Yep, I'm the original Mrfancyshoes. Might do Mrfancyshoes.marketing. Might change that up, but we'll kind of see what happens there. On TikTok, I am also I want to say the original Mrfancyshoes or original Mrfancyshoes, something like that. I've been working with TikTok, Mrfancyshoes.original. That's what I'm at on TikTok. But I've been working with TikTok to try to change my user name, and they just will not let me do it for some reason. It says that it's all good, but it's not working so far. I'm going to reach out to them one more time. But right now I'm going to feed my dogs, have dinner ready for my wife, and then we're going to call it a day and come back here before we watch a Monday Night Raw. Hope y'all have a great week. Appreciate y'all. And as always, stay fancy, friends. See ya. All right, closing out TikTok live, and now we're going to stop the stream on YouTube live. Thanks you everybody for hanging out, watching this, and we will catch you later. See ya. Stream will not be